Hi everybody, I'm Robert LaRocca, but you know me, I can't complain. If you like this video, please give it a harmless thumbs up and subscribe because I'm going to make a lot more videos like this one. Today's Korg Wavestate video explains how to tune performances and samples. This is part one. I'll probably make at least a couple more videos. There's some ground to cover on this one, so we'll try to keep each one concise so it's not so much information to wade through. If you'd like to skip directly to the demonstration, just click the first link in the timeline. There are a few reasons why you might need to adjust the output pitch of your Wavestate. One is that you might be playing with musicians who have their instruments tuned to something other than 440 standard pitch. This isn't uncommon or unprofessional as some might initially suggest or suspect. For example, I have my guitar tuned to B flat. The reason I think I gravitate to that sound is because I played trumpet in band and orchestra for 4 years. The trumpet was tuned down one whole step below a 440 concert pitch. So when I played a C, actually the note that sounded was B flat. The first thing our band director would ask for at the beginning of each practice was a C, you know, give us a nice C. And clarinets, flutes, sousaphones, most instruments, most concerts and instruments are tuned to B flat as well. So we were probably most of the time playing this nice big B flat, you know, chord without knowing it, you know, because we were kids, and it's actually not C, it's B flat. So there's a lot of times when tuning is not to concert pitch, and it's very useful to be able to change the pitch of your keyboard to match that. A lot of guitar players use slack tuning, which is sort of a Jimi Hendrix method of tuning the guitar down a half step or a semitone. Basically, it's 1 fret lower. And it sounds great, but if you're playing in a key like E flat minor, you'll be negotiating 6 flat notes out of 7. So you'll have B, E, A, D, G, and C. That's a lot of flats. It's a lot of black keys, made even slightly more bizarre by the fact that, of course, there are only 5 black keys on the keyboard, so C flat is actually B on the white key, but it's enharmonically spelled C. We don't want to get into theory right now. Along the same lines, you might be playing with a guitarist who uses a locking bridge, and she might be in tune with herself, but slightly sharp or flat in comparison to a 440 pitch. This is common with recordings by bands like Van Halen, AC/DC, Pantera. The bass just matches up wherever the guitar is, and then that's where they record the song. So a lot of those old recordings, if you check them out, they won't even be in standard pitch. It's just somewhere. It's wherever the guitar player was in tune with himself, and they went from there. Of course, in the old days of using tape medium, speeding up or slowing down tape would also change the pitch. So if you try to play along with old recordings, you might need to adjust the keyboard pitch as well. If you're a beginning keyboard player like I am, in some situations you might even want to just go ahead and tune so that you're in positionally the key of C, all the white keys. It results in tuning that you need to use for whatever particular song that you're going to play, and just makes it a lot easier physically to play the song. So it's incredibly useful and quite simple to adjust once you know where the function is located. So let's take a look together. Okay, so let's start out by taking a look at tuning a wave sequence first of all. So we have this lovely performance. The DBL, I guess that's a double unpredictable arpeggio. Some really nice sounds, very nice. Very beautiful, right? Let's say we want to tune that. We'd like to tune that let's say we want to go to a different octave. Now, all of the tuning is going to be located really simply right here in this utility button. So we have the double unpredictable arpeggio selected. Let's select utility, and we'll see right away that we have a system. We're in a global system setup menu. And we can see that we have the octave, the transpose for semitones up or down, and then a sense where we are now at 440 standard concert pitch. So let's say we wanted to change the octave for this. We're at 0 octave. We only have 37 keys. Let's maybe we need to be in a different range. We need to be a little bit lower. Simply adjust the value wheel. Now we're 1/2 step lower. Let's say we wanted to go a full tone lower instead of a semitone. There, and you can see how easy that is. We can also go higher if you want to go a full tone higher. And now there we are in that higher tuning. And this will be for everything. This is a global setting, so it will affect all the single sounds and all the wave states and the performances. All right, let's go ahead and let's adjust this back to the neutral setting of 0. Now we're back at 0. Now let's say we need to transpose. Let's say that your band is tuned to E flat. It's flat, and if you're, as we mentioned before, if you're playing in E flat, you have B, A, D, G, and C flat. It's all flat. You know, it's all 5 black keys. And let's say you'd rather just play something that's a little more simple. So all you need to do is use this page button, the right, and we'll page to the right, and we'll transpose this down 1/2 of a semitone. So now E, I'll play E instead of C. E is here, right? Now let's go back to 0, and you'll hear it get higher. See, now we're in concert pitch again. In order to play along with the band, we just drop that down 1 semitone, and there you have it. You're in tune. That's literally how simple it is, and that works for waves. Let's say we want to change a single sound setting. Now this is going to affect everything. So watch this. Okay, so we're 1 semitone lower here. So let's go back to wave sequence. Okay, now let's arrow to the left, and we'll see we're in wave sequence. Let's change that to single multi-sample. Let's go back into utility, and you'll see we're still 1 semitone lower. So this is a global setting, and it will affect everything. It will affect all the single sounds. It will affect all the, all the wave states, the layers. Everything gets affected by this. It's a global setting. So it's pretty simple. Okay, so let's assume that we're going to do some fine-tuning. This is probably the more complex, although it's not that bad, of the types of tuning that we might end up doing. And let's just go through the steps and let them speak for themselves. It's not too difficult. Let's say in this situation, perhaps your guitar player has a locking tremolo and she doesn't want to unlock it. She doesn't want to reset her guitar. So everyone kind of needs to tune it to the guitar signal. So that's fine. Not too difficult. First thing, as you can see, we are in the DBL unpredictable ARP setting. It's a performance. So as we have nice nice sounds coming from there, but it's going to be difficult to tune with everything happening at the same time. So first thing we're going to do, as before, is to select here, go into the wave sequence menu, and we'll left arrow here, left arrow, to wave sequence, as we did before in the previous video. You can watch that. And we'll rotate the value knob to the right so that it's showing single multi-sample. And now we have just the single piano sound, which will be a lot easier to tune, except we still have an arpeggio happening. So simply, I don't know if you can see, there's an arpeggiator button. It's just right next to the mod wheel. Very obvious, it's lit up. We'll just disengage the arpeggiator. As you can see, it is now off. And now we have just a single sound, which makes it much easier. This will make it much simpler to tune, of course, obviously. So now let's go ahead and we're going to tune to an E note. So there's E. First, let's take a quick listen to the guitar track. There it is, the bonging E, and okay, so now let's check that against our E that we have. And we can see obviously that this is in a different octave. So all of our tuning, as we said before, is going to take place in the utility section. So let's go ahead and press utility, and we'll see again, like we mentioned, we have the octave setting, we have the transpose setting for moving in semitones, and we have the tune setting, which is in sense. And if you look at this, if you look at where we are now, we're in A440 concert pitch. Okay, so this is where we're going to want to do our fine tuning right here, where the tune, it even says tune. So let's just use the page button, and we'll page to the right, 1, 2, and there we are. Now we have the tuning function highlighted and ready to work with. Okay, so now let's listen. So now, oops, yes. Oh, and I forgot, as we said, we need to move this octave down. So I think it's 3 octaves down. Let's check it out. Yeah, it's 3 octaves lower. So now we have it in the correct octave. We'll move the page button again. Let's go back to utility. We'll move the page button to the right to the tuning function here. We're at 4. And let's begin to move this so it sounds like it's a little better tuned. And one of the things that you'll notice is with a guitar string, there's a bloom, so that it starts out sharp and then it kind of settles down a little bit, and then there's a little spot in the middle where it sort of retains its pitch and then it starts to go flat. The guitar is a really weird instrument, stringed instruments in general, but especially guitar. And if you're tuned down, they get warbly, even more warbly. So it's a little strange. So this 24 cents, that's pretty close, actually is going to be a little sharp, because once the initial bloom takes place, it will drop a little bit, probably about 10 cents. Okay, so now we're going to tune up. Let's go ahead and do that now. Let's unmute the guitar track, and we can hear the bonging. And let's reduce the cent setting. And if we hit just after the bloom, you can hear that it's very close. So it's starting out around 24 and it's dropping down to around 12 to 14. And that's very close. Let's go ahead and mute that guitar track again. And you'll see, so now we're in tune. We are now in tune with the guitar. this is a global setting, so it will be effective for all of the performances. It will be effective for all the single sounds. Everything is going to stay the same. It will stay in that altered tuning. So let's take a look at that in action. Let's go back to perform. Let's scroll down. Let's go to Dionian bells. Cool sound, right? Or how about house beat? Yeah. Deep caramel swirl. See, we're still able to play all of our performances and everything. However, if we go inside of deep caramel swirl, as we always do, let's go to the wave sequence, select. Now we see we're in the wave sequence menu. We'll left arrow up to wave sequence. We'll go to single multi-sample. We'll go to utility. Remember, that's where all the tuning is. And we'll see that those settings are still enabled. We're still 3 octaves lower, and we're still 14 cents tuned higher, 14 cents to match the guitar. So it's a global setting, and it'll work with all the single sounds and all until it's changed back. It will be in this altered tuning. So that makes it kind of convenient. Now you can write this if you wanted something. I wouldn't necessarily suggest it because this is the nature of tuning, is that you do a lot of it. So I don't know how useful it is to write these settings. You could conceivably write them and then it won't change. But like, let's say if we power off the wave state and it loads again, this won't be here. Another thing is, let's go ahead and change this back to the setting we had before. Well, first of all, let's go to our performance. And let's scroll back up to our double unpredictable arpeggio. Let's go to wave sequence again, remember? And we'll go to single sound. And we'll go to utility, where the tuning is, where the tuning's located. And we'll see that we're 3 octaves lower and 14 cents higher. So let's go ahead and change that back to normal, where it's 0. We're at the neutral setting, so we have the octave setting at 0. And let's go past the transform to the tune, and we're going to 0 this out again, so it's neutral. 0, see, everything is the same. Now everything is back to the normal tuning. Let's take a look. We go to performance. Let's scroll down a little bit. Let's go to, did we do doodles? I can't remember which one we did. Let's go to dream sequence, for example. We'll go to this wave setting for dream sequence. We'll go to the wave sequence. We'll change it to single sound. Whoopsie daisies. We'll change it to single sound. Single multi-sample, I mean, sorry. And we'll go to the utility, and we'll be able to see that, yes, it's at 0 neutral octave and at 0 cents, 440 standard tuning. So it stays the same. So anyway, that was the demonstration. I hope you enjoyed it. Please like and subscribe. I will be making a lot more of these videos. Like I said, I'm going to expand more on this pitch. There's more to talk about. It's not quite over yet. And I'll be exploring other topics as well that I hope will be interesting and useful for you. Thank you very much for your time to watch the video. And I hope that your day is awesome and you're creating great music. Thank you so much.